That's the Ed Show. I'm Ed Schultz. Politics Station with Reverend Al Sharpton starts right now. Good evening, Rev.
Good evening, Ed, and thanks to you for tuning in. I'm live tonight from Chicago. We start with breaking news in Ferguson, Missouri, where the police chief, Tom Jackson, has resigned. His resignation will be effective next Thursday, but he'll receive a severance package and health insurance for a year. In 30 minutes, we're expecting a press conference from the city of Ferguson to address the personnel changes, and we'll go to that live. Chief Jackson's resignation comes 1 week after a Department of Justice released a blistering report that detailed racial bias in the Ferguson Police Department. But since its release, Chief Jackson has refused to comment.
Do you think the department has a race problem? Do they have a problem? And are you going to fix it? What are you going to do about it?
I need to have time to really analyze this report so I can comment on it.
Why do you need time to analyze the report? You know what you should have known what was going on in your department, correct?
It sells $500,000 cars.
What do you think of this DOJ report, and what are you going to do about it? Just any idea what it is you're going to do yourself about this as the chief of the department?
I'm going to analyze the report and take action where necessary. Okay.
Does that mean you're going to stay around?
I'm going to take action where necessary.
Now that action has been made for him. In his resignation letter, the chief says it was with, quote, profound sadness that I'm announcing I am stepping down. Chief Jackson presides over a police force of 54 officers, of whom just 4 are black. The population of Ferguson is nearly 70% black. He supervised officers who sent racist emails like these detailed in the Justice Department report. A November 2008 email stated that President Barack Obama would not be president for very long because, quote, what black man holds a steady job for 4 years? An April 2011 email depicted President Barack Obama as a chimpanzee, and an October 2011 email included a photo of a bare-chested group of dancing women, apparently in Africa, with the caption, Michelle Obama's high school reunion. 5 other Ferguson employees have already resigned or been fired since the Justice Department report. But the question tonight, is that enough? So what happens next? Will the chief's resignation change enough? No officers were named in the Justice Department report. Do others need to go? Should this entire department be dismantled? And what about the city's finance director who asked the police chief for more revenue? This is a city with serious problems, and it's got a long way to go. Joining me now is Liz Brown, attorney and columnist for the St. Louis American, and former Orlando Police Chief Val Demings. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Reverend.
Liz, what needs to happen now in Ferguson?
Well, I think that the mayor needs to go as well. Everybody who is in charge, I mean, this is Missouri, the buck stops here state. Everybody needs to go. The mayor needs to go next. But I'm not inclined to believe that the police department needs to be dismantled. I think this is a wonderful opportunity to gut this police department. No African-American community, majority African-American community, should ever give away power. You can't get power back. Gut this police department, make it a model police department for the rest of the country, and that way you be able to police the citizens in your community the way that they should be policed as American citizens.
You said the mayor needs to go. I remember when this report came down, the mayor came out alone and basically didn't really deal with the systemic top-to-bottom problem, it seems, that this report indicated, Liz.
Absolutely, and they never use the R word. They never use racism. They never use discrimination. They never apologize. You can look at what the president of the University of Oklahoma did when he was confronted with racism. He acknowledged it, he said it was awful, and he took he took some, he made some changes immediately. This mayor and this police chief are still saying, I have to look at the report. In fact, I heard the mayor actually say, I've got to go out and verify that all of these people said what the Department of Justice said that they said. They need to go. This is a
Demings, let me go to you. You're a former police chief. Gut the department or dismantle it?
Well, Reverend Sharpton, I tell you, I spent over 20 years in law enforcement, and it was a profession that I was honored to serve in. However, what has happened in Ferguson is absolutely disgraceful. When you look at the history of discriminatory practices, illegal search and seizures, unfair fines, racial bias, I believe that every branch on the poisonous tree has to go, which means every person who knew or should have known by virtue of their position has to go in order for Ferguson to heal and to move forward. I agree with Liz. I don't believe that gutting the police, or at least eliminating the police department, is the answer. Citizens love the ability to have their own law enforcement agencies, but I do believe that it's important to get law enforcement professionals in there right away who can really handle the day-to-day operations of the department and really look at each employee, each officer, look at their training records, look at whatever history that the department has kept records on, which I understand there was a problem there, but look at each employee and make sure that the employee matches the climate that Ferguson is trying to move to. But a lot of work.
Ms. Demings, we saw a lot of missteps from Chief Jackson in the days after the shooting of Michael Brown. He withheld Darren Wilson's name from public for 6 days. He released video that showed Michael Brown and his friend robbing a convenience store against the wishes of the Justice Department. And he changed his story on that video first. He said contact between Michael Brown and Darren Wilson wasn't related to the convenience store robbery. Then he backtracked and said it was. So was his resignation a long time coming?
Oh, my goodness. I'm trying to figure out what really took so long. I watched those early reports from Ferguson. Of course, as a former chief, I'd be very interested in what was going on in that community and how the leaders in that community handle it. But it's obvious there was a total absence of leadership. The chief made mistake after mistake, misstep after misstep. He was not held accountable. It seems like he was not doing a good job of policing himself. And I'm really trying to figure out what took so long for him to resign. And even more than that, why did he have the opportunity to take a long time to tender his resignation?
Liz Brown, quickly, let me go back to you. The community, the activists, the grassroots activists, those of us that came in calling for justice, the Department of Justice responded to that. We should give those young people a lot of credit because had there not been a light, we would have never gotten a report. Where does the community go from here? How Chief Jackson's resignation is only the beginning. How does the community come together and go from here?
The community needs to get involved politically because, again, that's how you control what happens in your community. On the ground, people need to be registering to vote. They need to be engaged in making certain that they have full access to and full participation in who's going to govern their community. And they should continue to call for the resignation of and the removal of the mayor of Ferguson. And just to note, Reverend, all of the men in Ferguson were allowed to resign. There's only been one firing, and that was the woman. Right. So I think that the notion that all the guys got to retire or to resign with their severance packages and deals is outrageous. And again, it shows that this is a city that cannot fairly govern itself.
All right. To Liz Brown and Val Demings, thank you both. Now let's bring in the attorney for Michael Brown's family, Attorney Benjamin Crump. Attorney Crump, what's your reaction? And I heard you just now speaking with the mother of Michael Brown. What's the family's reaction to this news about Chief Jackson?
Well, Reverend Al, they're relieved that actions are being taken, especially in light of the DOJ findings, these just horrible findings of a pattern and practice of discrimination and excessive force against African American citizens, which they have maintained from day one, Reverend Al, was a proximate cause as to what happened to their teenage son in broad daylight. And they always said, every citizen always said, they don't treat us right here in Ferguson. They profile us. And you know that, Reverend Al, because you went to Ferguson and you heard the cries from the people.
Now, I remember early, I was in there 48 hours after the family call, and I remember that from the first rallies, all the family, the mother and the father, their whole family stood up with such dignity. All they kept saying is, you must understand why there's such outrage here because of the systemic problem. In many ways, that is why the Department of Justice studied this. They have made change. They did not get Mr. Wilson prosecuted as many had strived for, but they have dramatically changed what's going on in Ferguson at this point.
They did, and I think it's important, Reverend Al, because what we said, there was larger implications about the tragic killing of Michael Brown, because you see unarmed people of color being killed all over America. It's almost like an epidemic right now. And so we need to try to prevent this, and there need to be some deterrent. And when you see DOJ saying we're going to highlight and we're going to do honest fact-finding missions to see if there's a pattern in practice, then that's a wake-up call for other police departments all across America.
As the problem is nationwide and all of us focused on Ferguson, what can come out of this that can heal and give a direction to the nation as we see this all over the country now, Wisconsin, Washington, all over the country, different cities facing these problems?
I think what the biggest thing should be learned is that you want leadership. You want your leaders to be transparent. You want them to try to have trust with the community. And the only way you do that is you deal with them honestly and openly. If you made mistakes, you say, I made a mistake. We're going to work together as a community to prevent making future mistakes. But when you don't do that and you try to sweep it under the rug and sanitize the action of your officers, then that builds a greater mistrust in the community. And you see Ferguson's happen. And nobody wants to see what happened in Ferguson happen in their city. So the way to do it is be honest, do an honest assessment and say, let's try to police all our communities equally, protect and serve everybody, not police the blacks and protect and serve the whites. We got to have equal justice.
Ben Crump, we thank you for your time tonight, and we are awaiting a press conference from Ferguson officials. We'll have that for you live. Straight ahead, backfiring. The 47 Republicans being called traitors for their letter to Iran are in full-blown spin mode today. But one Republican is actually trying to fundraise off it. Plus, the widening investigation into the SAE fraternity caught singing a racist song. Tonight, other schools and other chapters are being looked at. And is the Hillary Clinton 2016 campaign off and running? Wait until you see the tweet she sent today. Please stay with us.